going to share my screen and you guys sit back, relax. Hopefully I won't keep you too long. I want to give you information that you may find useful. If you do, great. If you don't, just bin it. Just take what's relevant to you and just leave the rest. Present there. Don't mind all the tabs on my Chrome. That's how all the stuff that I have to be doing all the time. Okay, so basically, let me press that. There we go. I just thought I'd open with a quote, and it was a business coach who told me this a couple of years ago during the COVID pandemic, and she literally just said, Sarah Jane, someone out there needs your help. So I'm just going to move my camera here because I'm so used to looking straight forward instead of to the left. But it turns out I'm not even using that camera. It's this one. This one? Okay, here we go. Sarah Jane, someone out there needs your help. I can't remember if she said they just don't know you exist, but that is something that I have stuck on a post-it note that I have a look at whenever I need to, because when you're working by yourself and when you are trying to find when's the next client coming in, dear goodness, what's the point? Am I reaching anybody? You have to remember that someone needs your help, not my help, your help. We all have our own unique selling point, is our own personality. So someone out there might see your face or your video, and they might see my face, my video, and decide that you are the better person to go to because they resonate with you more. So remember that someone out there needs your help. Now, this is something I wanted to do straight away because I'll come back to it later, and it's a little exercise. Anyone who is struggling with confidence in showing up on social media, I'm going to cover two parts today. Showing up on social media, and the other one is showing up confidence in working with clients or working in groups, presenting, and so what. Where's my words today? You know what I mean. I want you for a second, if you really struggle with that, I want you to scale on 0 being nothing at all to 10 being as bad as it could possibly be. So close your eyes and put yourself in a situation where your confidence is holding you back. And you're saying to yourself, do you know what? I'm not ready yet. I can't do this. I just, I'm not good enough, or whatever your inner voice says, all right? See the things that you would see, hear the things that you would hear, feel the things that you would feel, as if you were feeling it right now. Notice, where is that feeling? Where do you keep it in your body? Is it in your head? Is it in your chest? Is it in your stomach? Whereabouts do you keep it? Where can you feel it? Is it outside your body? Is it inside your body? Just pay a bit more of attention to it. Does it have a shape? Does it have a texture? Does it have a color? Is it moving? Is it static? Is it solid? Is it gas? Have a think about anything associated with that feeling. And now, I want you to rate it from 0 being nothing at all to 10 being as bad as it could possibly be. Give it a number. And when you have that number, you can open your eyes and just write it down. Okay, now I can't see everybody. Let me see if I can change these settings so I can, that's a bit better maybe, yeah. Okay, cool. All right, so we will come back to that later, but it's important that you have that number, because we're going to work on changing that today. I mean, I'm a hypnotist, yeah? You're all hypnotherapists. Why not work on something regarding in ourself, yeah? Okay, space, there. No, that's back, there. Okay, so I just want to give you a little bit of context. It's not my life story or anything, but I believe that the context is important. I mean, John said, I'm not really short of confidence anyway, but he doesn't really know what goes on in my head sometimes. I certified as a control practitioner in 2009. I run a gym for women who don't like going to the gym, and that's why I got into behavior change. That's that in a nutshell. The control system is basically non-trance hypnosis. So while I learned how to help people go into a trance on the first part of the training, the rest, that was just passed to the side. And the method that I use, I don't ask clients in the therapy room to close your eyes and relax and go deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's just not what I do. So I've very, very limited experience in trance. I attended the conference in Arklow, the very first one. It was 2023, wasn't it? He's gone. He's popped out. Yeah, there he is. He's still there. So that was the first time I actually met other hypnotherapists, aside from Linda Emmett, who I already knew through our chamber. Now, just gonna move me, dog. Get out. No, out. I'm busy. Get in. Get out. The dog will just start barking if I don't pet him. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I never met any other hypnotherapists in Ireland. You know, like I did my training in England, and there was 6 of us on the course. And I'd never had any other networking aside from when I only met Linda, and I'd only met her a few months beforehand as well. Like, so it was still a new relationship. So when I went to the conference, it was mad to see 50 other people there doing stuff that was similar to me. And that was my first, I suppose, real experience of seeing trance itself. You know, like we saw Freddie and Carl and a few other speakers, and even Jason O'Callaghan jumped up there and he did a stage hypnosis demonstration. And he was saying that stage hypnosis is a great way for you to increase your visibility and get more clients. So that's the reason why I am doing stage hypnosis now. So anyway, so my first exposure, very, very little experience. Then I went to Freddie Jacquelin's weekend training in January 2024. There was a weekend that John organized. And again, there was 50 or 60 other hypnotherapists in the room. And Freddie was saying he did a little bit, and then he said, okay, now you guys get up and you do it to each other. You know, like put your partner into trance and go through the arrow technique or whatever. And lads, I'm not word of a lie, I nearly shit a brick because I don't do trance. It's not something that I do with clients. And in fairness, the very first person that I was paired up with was Cormac Colleran, who's only just like now like going to every conference left, right and centre, showing off his lovely new technique, you know. And I'd never met him before, and he was like, oh yeah, no, full time now, and I've got a few different practices, and you know, and I was like, fuck's sake, what do I do now? You know, like this dude is at this like years and years and years, and I'm not comfortable putting people into a trance. So yeah, it's important because I want to share with you how my mindset changed. So I presented then at the following conference in 2024. So that was in Dublin, up by the airport, presenting the control system, the idea of creating change without trance. And there were thoughts in my head at that point beforehand going, oh my God, there's 50 odd hypnotherapists going to be in the room, but none of them know what I do, except for Dan. Dan's there, Dr. Dan's there, isn't he? Is he back? I know, he was on there. But that was what I reminded myself was, no one knows what this is, what I do, aside from one person or 2 people. Most of them don't know that. So I had to remember that this is what I know, regardless of what everyone else knows. I know more in that space. But then when Dylan's stage training came, there was a shift in mindset. I had decided in Arklow that I wanted to do stage hypnosis, that I was fascinated with the idea of trance, that it was opening up so many other possibilities as well. That when Dylan came over, and it was a great course, and I'm not doing this to sell his course or anything. Again, it's just to show you how the mindset shifted. And he said, okay, let's practice inductions. there's the induction, get up and do it. Let's get into little groups or whatever. And the person only a few months previous, or that earlier start of the year, was totally different. I was like, I don't want to get with anyone. In January, I was terrified of making eye contact with people because I felt like I didn't know what I'm doing. On that weekend with Dylan, I went, I am here to learn. It doesn't matter what other people think, because I need to learn and I need to get better. I need to do this. And I think, well, I'm fairly certain I'm not alone in the way that I thought on the first course. I think other people do go to trainings and they hold themselves back and they go, I don't have the confidence to do this. And I've heard, they're not on this call, but I have heard people attended the conference or attended different trainings to say, I'm here to get some more confidence. But they find it really difficult to actually roll their sleeves up and say, okay, come on, bang your hands together, raise your index fingers like this, separate them. You know, it feels like it doesn't feel natural to them, and they just feel like whatever they feel like.
Well,
Is there a question there? Nope. Okay. So anyway, so my mindset shifted from everyone's gonna think I'm a fraud, that I don't know what I'm doing, I don't deserve to be here, to I want to learn. And the only way I'm gonna learn is by doing it and getting there and making the mistakes. This is the time now to make those mistakes, because I can't be making mistakes in front of clients. I can't be making mistakes when I go on the stage and people are paying to see me. Make your mistakes in the room that you were training with your peers. And that was where the mindset shifted. And then, of course, 4 weeks later, I did my first show. And I didn't invite any of you because I was still afraid he was judging me, by the way, just so you know. All right? Let's just throw that out there. Call a spade a spade. Okay. I didn't really want to know why do people fail, but like you can replace that word with fail. Why do people hold themselves back? Why are people stuck? You know, why do people not take action? You can replace that word fail, all right? And there it is. Comparing too much. I can't really see it. Yeah, comparing too much. Making shit up. Unrealistic expectations and fear of judgment. I will delve into number 3 and 4 a little bit more, but I have very brief points on comparing too much and making shit up. So, where is my book here? Is this the old version or the new version? I don't know if you can see this, all right? So this is, as a control practitioner, this is my book of insights. And you can't get it on Amazon, by the way. It's an exclusive edition. But basically, when the subconscious mind has an objection to change, the answer to all of life's problems is somewhere in this book. And when you're comparing yourself too much to other people, in this book, it's known as highlight reel syndrome. And we often give it to clients who do experience confidence issues, especially with the likes of social media. You're sitting there scrolling on your phone all day. Well, at certain points, not necessarily all day. Some people actually do work full time. I don't work full time. But you're sitting there, you're looking out there and you're saying, Jesus, they look like they're getting loads of clients. They look like their practice is full. They are getting 5,000 likes and 6,000 shares and all of that kind of thing. And me, nothing. Absolutely nothing. You have to remind yourself that you know this, by the way. I'm sure you do. But if you don't, I'm going to say it anyway. People share just their highlights on social media. That is it. You know, any Game of Thrones fans here? I'm not going to talk about the ending, but there's a certain episode in Game of Thrones called The Long Night, and it was shot in the dark. And it took, now, The criticism afterwards regarding the actual episodes, they they slated it, saying they couldn't see anything or whatever. But that particular episode took 7 months to film. You think about a film in the movies, yeah, a 90-minute, 2 hour, 2.5 hour, 3 hour film. It takes 7, 8 months to a year to film, and then another 6 months to edit afterwards. Yeah. Think about all of that footage that didn't make the cut. What I say to my clients is, you are comparing your whole reel, your whole footage to someone's film, to someone's edited version. You got to remember that people only share their highlights. Next one, making shit up. Have a think about it. You don't need to share it with me, but what lies have you told yourself to excuse your lack of taking action? I'm not good enough. I'm too tired. The weather's shit. I haven't had a shower today. Oh no. I gotta sit down and have me down. Whatever. You know, what lies do you tell yourself? You're a hypnotherapist. You know it's all in your belief system. Now, setting achievable goals. So I do this more for my gym clients, really. People fail or people give up because they set them their unrealistic expectations. They set the bar too high, and then they end up shooting themselves in the foot, slating themselves, berating themselves because they haven't achieved that thing that they said they were going to achieve. Yeah, like you take a classic example is someone who says, I'm going to New Year's Day, I'm going to start my New Year's resolution, I'm going to join the gym, I'm going to go 5 days a week, I'm going to go at 6 a.m. every morning, I'm going to have a great healthy breakfast, lunch and dinner, and I'm going to do all of these things. And they might do it for about 3 days and realize that they're absolutely exhausted and they didn't really think it through and they made it too hard for them. And then they skip one day because their body is absolutely wrecked. They physically cannot do it. And then they feel hard on themselves. Well, now I'm not going to go back now because I failed once. So I'm just not going to bother doing it again. What I say to my clients in the gym is lower your standards. Seriously. There is a thing that I say to them about a non-negotiable action. What one thing can you do on a regular basis? So either it's once a week, twice a week, once a day, whatever. But make it really, really, really small that will bring you closer to your goal, no matter what life throws at you. Like I hear all the time, oh, my kids are sick, or I'm after getting stuck in work, or, someone died or whatever, I hear these things in the gym. So no matter what life throws at you, no matter how busy it gets, no matter how little sleep you get, what one little thing can you do to take you a little bit closer to your goal? And it has to be something that you can do no matter what. I'll give you a second to have a think about it and write it down. Another way of saying it is, what 5-minute action can you take every day that will bring you closer to your goal? Something that takes 5 minutes. Could be something as simple as having a shower. I don't know. Everyone's going to be different. But it's about making those goals achievable. And then eventually, when that becomes a habit, you can then move on to the next one. When you get nice and comfortable doing that 5-minute action, you can increase the challenge. And it always means that you are never just giving up or you're putting stuff on pause. Because some weeks you will have time, effort, and energy to be able to give it loads. And then other weeks, things might happen where you'll have to rein it back. But if you're always doing that little 5-minute action, then you're never going to be giving up. You're always going to be moving forward, no matter how fast it's happening. So the next one then is fear of judgment. And I think that's one of the biggest thing with the idea of confidence is the fear of being judged. People don't put themselves out there. And a lot of businesses fail as well because of the fear of being judged as well. Fear of being judged by who? Genuinely, who, if you have this weird fear of what other people are going to think, who? Is it your peers or the hypnotherapists or people who you work with if you're working full-time in, aside and your hypnotherapy practice is part-time? Are you afraid of being judged by your friends or your family? Are you afraid of showing up on social media and getting trolled? I have some questions to ask you. Do they pay your bills? Do they send you referrals? Do they actually engage with your content? Do they like, comment, share? Do they actually comment on your content? That's a very important one for social media reach. If they don't, back them. Simple. Next one. Where am I? Because I knew I was getting on to another point. The day I nearly got cancelled on Facebook, my career nearly ended before it got started. It sounds so dramatic, doesn't it? I'll tell you now, right? I was about this was around November, yeah. So I qualified as a control practitioner in July, and then around November I was looking to work with I asked for a case study for someone who had fibromyalgia. Anyone got fibromyalgia? I'm looking for case studies. I want to see if I can get some success rates with fibromyalgia. I had one girl, I didn't charge her anything, had a great success with her for fibromyalgia. Her pain didn't flare up or anything. It was amazing. I was delighted. I was so excited because I was so new at this that I then went and I did a video and I told a story about the client, her experience, how this, what we, not going into too much detail about the work that we did, but basically she doesn't get any flare-ups anymore. She doesn't feel that pain that she used to feel. And this is so exciting because I know that there's so many people out there who are struggling with chronic pain and fibromyalgia every single day. And this can really help, Well, the Fibromyalgia Warrior Brigade absolutely destroyed my social media page, calling me a liar, calling me a scam artist, saying that I was making it up, that I was taking advantage of vulnerable people, that there's absolutely no way that you can fix or reduce or alleviate fibromyalgia pain. And it just didn't stop. It just kept coming and coming and coming. And then because the gym page was tagged or whatever, they started jumping over onto my gym Facebook page as well. And I ended up having to take it off the gym page. But if you go onto my Facebook page now, on Facebook, obviously, I had to take down the reviews because they were putting up false reviews. I'd never met any of them. And there's certain types of reviews. I can't remember if it's just the stars. If they put like a star and then no comment, you can't dispute that. But if they do write a comment, then you can get back to Facebook. And I think Google is the same. So there was nothing I could do about it. So I had to take down the reviews with that. But yeah, so I've been there. If you're worried about people are going to call you out, that is totally out of your control. If anyone was wondering what I did, I cried for about 2 days, literally. And then I went back to my mentor, Tim, who taught me the control system. And he was like, Sarah Jane, just fucking block them. That's what he said, literally verbatim. Sorry for the language if anyone's a bit offended by that. Whoops. He says, you just block them. Don't indulge them. Don't engage them. Just block them if they're that bad. Don't be worrying about it. So that's what I did. And I hid for a little bit. I took a step back. I was, focusing my efforts more on the gym. And obviously the pandemic came in then afterwards as well, very soon afterwards. and had loads more stuff on my plate as well. But I started showing back up eventually. You know, let the dust settle, and I just started posting it again and just left it. And one of the things that, like, when I was creating the content for this presentation, I was like, what is my own fear? Because I have my notes here as well. I have loads of different things here. And it's not even that relevant anymore now that I actually wrote it down. But like I said, one of my personal fears was accidentally copying someone else's content. So I don't really follow other people on social media. I don't follow influencers. I do follow some of the hypnotherapists in the Irish Hypnotherapy Conference group, but I don't follow everyone. And from a marketing perspective, that is really, really bad, because you need to be able to see what other people are doing, what type of content works for them, so that you can do your own spin on it. But one thing that I did not, when I was doing my stage hypnosis shows, and you can see it there in the text, like, I've watched hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hypnosis shows over the last 6 months. And the one thing I discovered is that no one is reinventing the wheel. And that's exactly the same when it comes to creating content or showing up on social media. You don't need to be original. Really, you don't. All you got to do is be yourself. I know you're all on mute, but if you ever want to, like, interrupt me, pass a comment and say, wow, that was really inspiring, Sarah Jane, that'd be amazing.
Well,
thank you.
it's like, I feel like it's a bit contradictory to say, like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, just be yourself. But ain't no one more unique than yourself. You know?
That's right. No, you're dead right. You're dead right. 100%. And that goes back to earlier on, that people could watch your video, Victor, or your post or whatever, and then they could watch me, and then they say, no, I resonate with him better, because we are unique people. What does that say? I can't say. You need to make it easy for your prospects to find you. They can't find people who are invisible. Not too sure if that needs more explanation or not. But if you are not showing up in any space, I'm not just talking about being online. I mean, I'm talking like in person, the likes of networking, for example, or what are the like, that's the first thing that comes to my head, or trade shows, or anything like that. Showing up where your clients can find you. The easiest one to do is online. That's why I talk about it, really. But they need to be able to find you, and you need to make it easy for them to find you. If you don't have the confidence to do that, then how are they going to find you? Yeah.
That's one of the advantages of online, is that people get familiar with you. So by the time they come to your therapy room, they've already met you effectively because they've seen you online. It's different, say, with Google or whatever, you press Google ad, they'll find you, but they won't necessarily have met you. And if rapport is part of what we do, then this is where video is huge.
100%, 100%. And to add to that, if you are creating, if you're creating videos, for example, and you're sticking them on social media, embed them into your website. If you're running Google ads and you do not have a video on your website, just one of your social media videos, I wonder why are you spending money on Google ads just to see a brochure? That's like, sticking flyers in people's doors.
I've got it. Hi, Sarah. Bo Walsh. Just going to say I'm very impressed by your progress. Yeah, all power to you for going on doing shows 4 weeks after a course. I've got lots of things to say, but I'll just mention just one thing for now. Google Ads, complete and utter waste of money. Click-ons, waste of money. You can do it organically. It's a question of where you target the resources. It doesn't have to be money, and you've alluded to it anyway. So it's a question of really of where you're putting your energy, where you're putting everything else. It doesn't have to be ads and pay fors and click-ons. It's really, if you can take a step back and see the bigger picture and read between the lines, you can do a lot better than just throwing money away on advertising, if you know what I mean.
100%. 100%. Thanks for sharing that.
I'll shut up for a minute.
So you are dead right. There are so many ways to bring in customers without going and paying for digital marketing. And I've done both. Like I do digital marketing, paid ads for my fitness studio, and I haven't really put any money into paid ads for my hypnotherapy practice. And in fairness, the last Facebook/Instagram campaign that I did there, I turn it on and off like a tap, and it brought me in nothing. It brought me in nothing, and I ran that campaign for 2 weeks. I've tried Google Ads before myself, and I just found that I was getting more spam emails from companies that wanted to sell me things. So I got really annoyed that they were clicking because it was costing me money every time they clicked. But you were dead right. There are other ways, and you can generate, and it's very possible. There's so many people out there who are generating leads and clients organically.
Sorry to interrupt you again, but so if you Google, I'm not singing my own praises here, but I'm just giving you an example, my own personal example. If you Google hypnosis, hypnotherapy, North London, I come up on the first page of Google. I'm second or third. The people ahead of me are organisations, and then you've got the people who pay, sponsored. If you Google those 4 terms for Central London, I come up on the first page 3 or 4. I've never ever paid Google for anything. It's all been organic, but it's been a hard road. It really has, but it makes you more determined, and you can get people, I think, can get too used to sort of spending money and thinking it's going to be easier. And it's almost like, you think you need to spend money to, get up as high as the other people and everything else, all the sponsored people. You really don't. And the other thing I was going to say is, it's going to change this year. I've never ever done social media regarding my business, and yeah, I still got those results. So it can be done.
Great. How long is your website online?
Since 2009, which kind of explains it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Your SEO. It's excellent.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thanks for that. Confidence in your work, presenting or working with clients. Yes, cool. So I've kind of tapped into showing up and making yourself more visible, and just making sure that you can be seen by the people who are looking for your help. The next thing is, because I wasn't too sure exactly what you might struggle in your confidence, so I will have time for more questions towards the end. But these again will be more insights that I would share with my clients when they are struggling with their confidence. And one is, I've already touched on this, you are the expert in the room, regardless of whether you're working with someone one-to-one or if you are presenting at an event. I touched on this slightly when I said I presented at the Irish Hypnotherapy Conference in front of a room of hypnotherapists, with a lot of them had a lot more experience than me, but I was the expert on the control system, and I had to remind myself that. They all knew so many different methods very, very well, much better than I did, but I knew my thing. Your clients, your audience, they do not know what you know, and they don't know how to do what you do. Is that okay? That's very, very clear, I imagine, yeah? Okay. Then the second one, it's in yourself. You are the expert on you. If you just imagine for a moment that, you imagine for a moment that your boiler in your house, your gas boiler breaks down. You're going to call a registered gas installer because they're an expert, yeah? If Daniel O'Donnell, this is an ad on TV, by the way, if anyone doesn't know who Daniel O'Donnell is. Daniel O'Donnell is a singer, famous singer in Ireland, and from Donegal, and all the old ones love him. Daniel O'Donnell knocked on the door and says, "Oh, I can fix that gas boiler for you. Would you let him?" No. When it comes to the opinions of other people, you can take, if you want to accept the positive ones that you like, that's fine. But when people are criticizing you, or you feel that they're criticizing you, they're probably not anyway. But whatever you think that they think about you, their opinion of you, you should not hold that any higher than the opinion that you have of yourself, because they don't walk in your shoes. They don't see the world as you see it. They don't know all of your experiences. Even your partner or your wife, Fiacre, does not know you better than you know yourself. 100%. So why would you take the opinion of a novice over an expert? If you found that interesting, you can steal that and give it to your clients. Another one is born confident. You all know this. No one is ever born insecure, thinking I'm not good enough, I'll never be great enough, I'm not smart enough, I just can't do this. Yeah, babies come out of the womb and they don't think, "Dear God, don't look at me, I'm naked." They don't think that. Insecurities in ourselves and our self-doubt, it's all learned behaviors. There we go, a little bit more light because it's starting to get darker. You notice. So whatever it is that's lacking in your confidence, you know, you have learned this. You've learned this at some point in your life, and you can easily unlearn it or learn something new. And one of the things, I picked this up in a book called The Obvious Choice by Jonathan Goodman. His background is a personal trainer, but I don't think he's actually trained anyone personally. He just he got lucky and he writes and all this, and he ends up having $1 million business. And now he teaches trainers how to run their own fitness business. But this book is more geared at anyone in business, and it's quite good. It's short, but it's called The Obvious Choice by Jonathan Goodman. And he said, you don't have to be the best. You just have to be good enough. If you're good enough, if you've had one successful case, doesn't matter whether you charge them or not, if you've had one client that has had success with you, you are good enough. Don't think, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to keep doing things that's holding you back from being better or gaining that confidence to put yourself out there and show up. We are nearly there. And how can you expect to get better if you won't give yourself the chance to practice? We need to practice to improve. And this is something that you can use on yourself, or you can give to someone who's maybe struggling with public speaking. You know, anytime the thoughts of getting up in front of a person, I just freeze up, you know, and I can't even practice. Well, how can you expect to get better if you don't give yourself the chance to practice? No one is ever born with a God-given talent. They don't know the skills. Now, like Einstein didn't come out of his mother's womb knowing all that he knows. It's, again, learning. But if your subconscious mind is holding you back from even practicing, how can you expect to get better in the first place? We need to practice to improve. Everyone starts at a beginner. And if you are thinking, if you were not showing up, say, for example, on social media, for example, and you would like to, get comfortable knowing that your first few posts are going to be shit. It's okay. It's absolutely okay. Everyone has that experience. And then the more you do it, the better you get at it. It becomes like a second language to you, like driving. If anyone doesn't know how to drive, that's absolutely fine. But again, it's about learning a skill. You're never brilliant at the start, but you just need to be good enough to get the ball rolling, and then you can get better. So get out of your comfort zone, roll up your sleeves, go out and practice, go out and meet people and show them something interesting. Another book that I would recommend is called Reality is Plastic by Anthony Jacquin. It's more about impromptu hypnosis, yeah. I have the audio version of it. Now, I'm sorry, anyone who's typed in the chat, I can't see it because I have full screen. But come here to tell you, this just arrived today. You're the first to see it. It says, relax, I'm a hypnotist. It's a hoodie. And I've got t-shirts and hats and everything that I'm going to wear. There you go. Ah, deadly. I'm going to wear this. It says hypnotist on it, yeah? I'm going to wear this when I go out to the park and I walk on the dogs in the park. Ah, I love it, Victor. I love it. Out and about and say, hey, how's it going? I'm a hypnotist. Would you like to see something interesting? I don't know if I'm saying his name properly. Turan, who did his talk on street hypnosis at the conference just passed. One of the great little things that he said was, you don't have to get people to be doing something silly. All you got to do is your induction, a deepener, and then wake up, just to get used to that feeling, they getting more fluid with those sort of things. So go out and do it. Just do it, Nike. Just do it. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to show you an exercise that is wonderful for groups. It is wonderful for one-to-one, and we are going to do it right now to work on yourself. What you will need though is a piece of paper. One that you don't treasure too well, because you will be scrunching it up. I'm going to stop the share for a minute so I can see people. I did not realize I was talking for that long. Sorry if I bored any of you.
Absolutely fine.
Is that the time?
Yeah, you're grand.
I'm pretty much done anyway.
It's brilliant. No, it's
That's
brilliant. Honestly.
hypnosis, time distortion.
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
right, piece of paper. Oh, here, I've got one under my laptop here. Hey, this is one I prepared earlier. Right, so that number earlier on at the start of the talk, yeah? You don't have to write it down, but if you want it, you can write it on your piece of paper. Okay? And when you have it, I want you to stand up and take that piece of paper in your hand. You can do it. Mom, grab your piece of paper, stand up. I'm going to not stand up because you need to be able to see my arms. I want you to take the piece of paper. I want you to scrunch it up like this into a ball. I want you to keep it in your non-dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, pop it in your left hand. Extend the arm out. Locked nice and tight from your shoulder to your wrist. You got it? Palm facing up. Thank you. Yeah, I need to be really specific with that. Thank God I can see it. Okay. Now, I want you to squeeze that paper nice and tight as you look at it through your hands. I want you to imagine you're squeezing it so tight that you cannot open it, no matter how hard you try. When you're sure you're not open, I want you to test it. Notice the more you try and open your hand, the more it squeezes tighter and tighter and tighter around that piece of paper. And when you're sure you can't open it, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to imagine that number, that feeling, no matter where it is you hold in your body. I want you to imagine it going up into your shoulder, down into your arm, and all the way down into that piece of paper. I don't know where it's coming from, but as that goes all the way down into your arm and into that piece of paper becomes heavier and heavier and heavier, as if that page is like a sponge. It's soaking up that feeling and everything with it. And you may notice that arm starts to drop down as it gets so heavy that you cannot hold on to it. I want you to have a think. Everything that I can let go of right now is here in my hand, and it's just me holding on to it. And as your subconscious mind realizes that, and when it's ready to let go of everything that you can let go of, your subconscious mind will start to release those fingers so you can just let it go.
Brilliant.
Find the number now. What's there? Seamus, you look a bit confused. 0, Victor, is that right? Or
1.
1? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else still got something? Lisa? 1? Interesting. What was it before that? What was the number before? 5,
6.
5, 6, 2, 5. Okay. So I used that exercise in groups. I did it at the Hypnotherapy Conference. I had no idea what way it was going to go. It's very, again, something that I've learned from experience. The fact that the number is shifted means that your subconscious is still working on it. Yeah, that there's no objections to that change. I usually say beforehand, let's see what your subconscious mind can change without any negotiation. Because sometimes the only objection to change is realizing the change itself wasn't possible. Wasn't possible. I know it makes sense. It makes sense in my head normally when I say it properly. Yeah. Sometimes the only thing that's stopping us from change is not realizing that we can change. So I give them that. So if you're ever going to say do maybe a 10-minute presentation in network, let's change something in 3 minutes. It's on my TikTok. Change something with hypnosis in 3 minutes. If you ever wanted to look it up. But I didn't come up with that, by the way. Tim Box told me how to do that. And I don't know who told him how to do it. But again, we are not reinventing the wheel. We are just learning as we're going, and we're passing on our what we learn. So going back again to, yes, we are unique, but don't feel like you have to come up with all of these amazing ideas and all of these unique and original stuff in order to spread your message out to the public. You just take what you learn and you turn it into, you put your own spin on it, your own personality on it. If you're doing that in a group with someone, because in fact, I did it at the conference and I went, the number hasn't changed, by the way. And no one put their hands up. And I really wish I got it on video because I had a great joke about calling myself Jesus. It's like, maybe I am Jesus and I can do miracles. But no, it doesn't matter. But afterwards, someone came up to me and said, my number didn't move. She was too embarrassed. She didn't want to make me feel embarrassed. If the number doesn't move, there is just an objection there that you have not addressed. And you can't really, like, you're just helping people. You're at the time. It's not, you can say, if it's up to you then, if you'd like, book an appointment with me or we meet at lunch and whatever, and I'll talk a little bit more about it with you then. But if you do that exercise in a group and the number doesn't change, it's not going to happen for everybody. It might happen to just one people. Most people that feel a shift, it's only because there's an objection still there that you have not addressed. That's okay. You're not there to do miracles. So I check them up there. Yeah, I know. I remember you saying about Jesus, yeah. Yeah. So
Sarah, you talked about the first show you did, where you did it, and how many volunteers and how it went.
So the very first show that I did was 4 weeks after let me just get rid of that for a second. 4 weeks after the I did the training. I did it in my gym.
Oh,
So
right,
I
okay.
have the luxury of having my own studio.
Okay, that was at a
I,
pub or somewhere, I thought, yeah.
I will tell you about that in a second. So I did that. I did the first one. I said, listen, I'm looking for guinea pigs. I asked only the members of my gym, and I asked some of my mother's friends and whatever,
Okay.
people who I knew
Yeah,
that
yeah,
if I made mistakes, I
yeah.
wouldn't give them a shit. I wanted
Okay.
to make mistakes. I wanted to learn how to get better.
Yeah, good.
2 weeks after that, I went and I did a show in a pub,
Wow.
and it was for a 40th birthday party, and there were 40 people there. Well, maybe she said that there was 40 guests, and I thought it was going to be in a function room, but it wasn't. It was in the corner of the pub.
Okay.
So the whole pub knew I was there as well. And in my head, I went, oh my goodness, this is going to be a bloody disaster, an absolute disaster. But you have to get out of your own head. When you hear those thoughts, you have to think, no, the bigger picture, the long-term goal, I have to make it work. That's it. Yeah. And I made it work. I had 5 volunteers. I sat one down, and out of those 4 volunteers, 2 of them were really good subjects.
Oh,
And
brilliant.
I asked her before. I went around everyone beforehand. There were some people who ignored me and whatever, which is they do. But one of them said to me, "I know I was hypnotized before. They made a holy show of me. No, I'm not going to get up." And she got up.
Sarah, how long was the show, roughly?
The one in the pub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stopped it when they said the food was coming up.
Okay.
It was about 45. It was about 45.
Right. Rather than I get the impression that rather than a stage, you were going around doing table trance.
No, I
Oh,
did
it was
no.
a stage, was that?
No, so no, it was a stage performance, but it
Okay.
was just in a pub.
Sure.
So I didn't go. So I went around table to table before the show started to build rapport with the clients and see
Good
if I could
idea.
volunteer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had it was like they were all sat watched, like we created a stage area, very very small stage area, by the way. I do have it. If anyone is on TikTok, it's easier to find it on TikTok. It is on my TikTok.
Yeah, I will.
Have a look at it.
Yeah.
What happened there? I don't know. Sorry about that. I have two. Okay. So if you want to see my stuff, I have both of my shows that are in the studio. I have them recorded and they're on YouTube, and you can watch them.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
full length from start to finish.
Under Sarah Jane, the hypnotist, is there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah Jane hypnotist, Irish female hypnotist. Google
Okay.
them, yeah, and you'll find that. Yeah, I've cut out bits of the induction because just for viewing purposes, it's boring. But you see the start and you see the end, and you'll know what induction I used. Yeah.
Okay.
Then the one I didn't record the one that was in the pub because one, it was too small, and two I was just
Yeah.
But
Russell.
some of the participants recorded it and recorded parts of it. So highlights of that are on my TikTok.
Okay.
It's only one video. And I'll tell you, that video that was in the pub got me the gig in Galway. I'm doing a festival in Galway in August. Marquee event with 170 people on the bank holiday weekend of August. So that little video in that pub got me that gig.
Wow.
Not the one of the you know, in the studio and stuff. I'm gonna the last little thing that I did want to say was you're pricing and embracing mistakes. So, but I don't think that's just make mistakes. If we only fail, we don't learn from we only fail if we don't learn from it. So stop failing and start learning. The more mistakes you make, the better you will get, pretty much. And that's me. Any other questions?
I've got a few comments and a couple of questions, if that's okay.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, one of the first things is I suspect, I mean, you may disagree with me in this, but I suspect when you said before you were doing formal trance and you said, I don't do trance, and there was no induction, I suspect you were doing waking hypnosis and they were going into a trance. There was no formal induction. If you Google someone called Kreskin, apparently he used to work in the 50s, 60s and 70s, or Sean Michael Andrews, who has a Kreskin show, this guy was just going up and it was all pure suggestion. Pure suggestion, no induction, nothing. But it was extremely powerful because he had the intention that person was going to do what he asked. So I suspect it was waking hypnosis. If you'd hooked them up to an fMRI machine, you would have had the state. So that's why I suspect. The other thing in terms of the You mentioned 4 things that stop people. I'd add number 5. I meet a lot of people when I do master classes and go on the odd course and the odd conference, and I speak to them and I say, oh, what do you do? I'm a Reiki therapist. I do hypnosis. I do NLP. I do EMDR. Where do you practice? Oh, I haven't actually started yet. I'm doing another course. And that comes with the confidence. And there's a lot of people like that. I've been guilty of it myself in the past. At some point, you have to be prepared to start and make mistakes and be found out and be bloody minded, thick-skinned, determined, and just see where you want to go. And we're always learning. I mean, I have a permanent L plate on my back because the day I know everything about hypnosis, etc., that's the day I stop. You see my point?
Yes.
The other thing about, I don't know how many people here do street hypnosis, stage hypnosis. I've been doing street hypnosis for a few years, and people say to me, how do you do that? And they don't mean what I'm actually doing on the street. They mean, how do you have the nerve and the confidence to go up to people cold? Do you know something? Don't care what people think. You just go up. And if they say no, next, please. And you have to learn to tune into people. You sense who to go up to and who not to go up to. It's all about the energy of the room, if you like, the energy of outside. It's just a question of just keep going. Does that kind of
one of
make
the
sense?
things when I was in the States the first time at Vegas, because people have had this terrible view of stage hypnosis here. And it was only when I started talking to American hypnotists, because stages in States is so much more accepted. I mean,
The
it happens
college
everywhere.
circuit, yeah, sure.
In America, they accept hypnosis a lot better. But you
Yeah.
actually learn 5 things on stage, or you have to have 5 things. And like, if any of these does not resonate in your therapy room, then, all of these are very useful. You need to be able to have rapport with people. You need to be able to hypnotize people. You need to be able to read people. You need to have confidence, and you need to be creative. And all
Absolutely.
of those 5 come on a stage performance. And like, we never know what's coming in the therapy room to us. So you need to be creative and you need to be confident. And the other thing, actually, just to say it, because, and I really applaud Sarah Jane for just the confidence that she's shown,
Absolutely.
even to do this tonight. But like, as hypnotherapists in particular, where we don't keep people for a long time, as against, say, other therapies, we've got to keep turning people over and over and over and over. And so how are you going to get them? You're going to have to you have to be confident. You have to go on that screen. You have to make those public appearances or whatever it might be. Stage mightn't be for everybody. I get it, but you still have to be able to get out there and do the confidence. And the 2 last things that I wanted to say, one is big for me, actually, is congruence. If we teach people how to be confident, we should be bloody well confident ourselves, very simply. And I'm actually going to, as human beings, we move from pleasure towards, or from pain towards pleasure. There's a pull that's driving us, otherwise what was going to take it away from us? And Grant is there in the room and I can see him, and I don't know whether he knows this or not, but he asked me about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago now, to do a talk to the James Braid Society. And I was like, oh fuck, there's so many fucking famous hypnotherapists. So excuse the language. So many famous hypnotherapists on that. And you know what? I was doing the talk on adoption, and I literally just said exactly what Sarah Jane just said. I'm the expert in the room. I've lived it all my life, and I practice it, and I help people with it all the time. Like, so just don't be afraid. And don't be afraid to make mistakes either, because we do make mistakes. And as you said, Bo, the day we stop learning is the day that, well, we may as well pack it in now. Your clients are your best teachers.
Absolutely, John. Absolutely. I mean, the other thing is, I think we all know Sean Michael Andrews. Sean Michael Andrews on YouTube, his channel, you subscribe, doesn't cost anything. He has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of street hypnosis skits, from anything from a minute up to 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And it's a wonderful opportunity for anyone. I mean, Sarah was talking about, well, what can I do? What can I do every day? Well, just watch a 2-minute video from Sean Michael Andrews and practice it. Make a transcript of it. Go and see stage shows. Any opportunity I have to see a stage hypnotist, I'll go. And I've seen so many shows, and I've learned so much without knowing it, and I had a good laugh as well. And the other thing, I run 2 practice groups in London. people come along, they make their mistakes, then we go out on the street and we do our stuff. We make mistakes and then we talk about it. And the other thing is networking. You cannot beat networking. But always best, I think, live rather than online if you can. Because, I think there's nothing that beats live, i.e. the conference and everything else. I couldn't have imagined going to a conference online, but they do exist.
I'll do it. I won't give it to you anyway.
Please
So
don't.
Grant, you have your hand up there. Is there something you want to?
Yeah, thanks, Sarah Jane. Firstly, thank you very much. You're a great beacon of what you do. As John said, if you're going to teach confidence, you better be confident. And a lot of I'm a body language guy, and I look around and you ooze confidence. You ooze confidence. You're a real beacon for what you teach. It's true. What we're talking about stage hypnosis, John mentioned just now, the James Bray Society. I was the chairman of that, and they wouldn't allow anything. They wouldn't even like the word hypnosis. Hypnotherapy it had to be, because they didn't. There's an experience which I can't go into here, but they didn't like stage hypnotists. And I just say to them, you realise these guys have more checks and balances than we do. The therapist, you're actually safer, per rota, you're safer in their hands. But no, they wouldn't have it. Was one of their things. So I could not mention anything like that, So I always just say to people, come around, think of, always know your audience. Know your audience, I'd say. So, I'd be that way when I was with them. What you do outside is one thing. And I think I probably said it. I mean, there's been certain hypnotists that I've invited on there to speak. And I've said, can you not do that part, do this part, And it's adjusting. So I had Paul Ross on at one point. Paul Ross, who was the pickup artist for decades. Now, I know him because he's in a different, nothing to do with pickup. He's now got a bit older. He's reframed all that into business language. Same skill, repurposed it, really. Extremely good. And I said, you might be better off to talk about that. And I said to people, what do you think? This guy's a bit controversial because he's done all of that kind of stuff. So, but I've asked him not to talk about that, separate the teacher from the teaching. He really knows his stuff. Just take it what he's talking about business. All the women wanted to know about the pickup stuff when he came on. So I was like, oh, okay. So you never really know what's going on. So he was trying desperately to keep it on the business, but no. So you never know. But, again, I asked him to respect the audience. And I think that's the best thing. If you can know your audience, do a little bit of research, know what they want. If I'm hosting something, I'll always say, who's coming? What kind of people are they? And get to know. If you've got a mixed bag, it's a little bit different because you've got some who are a bit like this, some are a bit like that. So, but it's get to know the audience. But I think, you've nailed it really, Sarah Jane, because whatever you do it with confidence. It's hard for people not to buy into that. Because what you're showing, you're leading the road in front of them, because most people want confidence. If you can teach that, fantastic. That's lightning in a bottle. And it doesn't matter what you do, if you do it with confidence, even if you screw it up a bit, they won't even know.
That's it. And there's so many, even you've just said that I'm pretty sure I have that on my envelope of notes here somewhere, that if you mess up, they do not know. In your head, they don't know. Regardless of if it's a one-to-one client or if you're doing a presentation somewhere, putting yourself out there. Even if you do it as a social media post and you mess up, you can just delete it if you don't want to stay up there. They don't know. You know.
Oh, can I share a tiny embarrassing story?
Yeah, go on.
So, the whole see what you see, hear what you hear, feel what you feel thing, right? We all said it a million times, and I've said it a million times. I was at a group once, and I don't know, maybe I wandered or something, and I screwed it up. And this guy's got his eye closed, and I said, see what you hear. And I thought, what did I just say? And I paused, and I said, see what you hear what you see, and feel what you both see and hear in a way that makes sense to you now. He went like this.
You've just added confusion.
Confusion,
He said,
Tony.
man,
Absolutely.
man, he said, that was deep. I've never heard that. Is that like a new thing? I said, yeah, I only do that sometimes. I said, only very rarely, but I felt you needed it. He said, I really needed that. Thank you.
You went from Ben Erickson to Milton Erickson.
Just style it out. Just style it out with a Sarah Jane will teach you so brilliantly with confidence.
Confusion.
Excellent. I love it. But that's the thing. You just recovered. You feel you and the more you do it, the easier it is. Like if anyone is like says that they literally have no confidence whatsoever, one of the best tips that I could give you is go find a local improv group, improvisation drama. Yeah. Even if it's a drama society or the panto, like there's a lot of rural towns. Like, I mean, there's a panto in my village, and I'm in Lucan in Dublin. Even joining the panto and just doing it once, because you won't know yourself. You'll start to get out of your own head and just start speaking what comes to your brain instead of over analyzing it. You know.
Yeah,
There's
I come
groups
from
like
an acting
Toastmasters as
background.
well, if you
Sorry.
want them.
Yeah.
Sorry, John.
Sorry, yeah, I was just saying there's groups like Toastmasters, if you want
Yes.
them, where you actually learn to practice
Yes.
speaking in public, and they give you a structure in which to do it, as if that's what people want to do. But it is about being, it is about being out there. I mean, the other thing actually is from the stage or whether it's from the street, you actually show people the power of hypnosis. And so many stage hypnotists, both here and in the States now and in Europe, they fill their therapy room because they'll talk about it from the stage and about how we don't use this just for performance. We can also apply it in the therapy room, and I can work with you on blah blah blah. I see Jason doing it all the time. I saw it in Europe and in the States. So it's a great way to promote yourself, actually. So fair play to you.
I was
And
going to say on that, John. I mean, improv is a great one. I've got an acting background from a few years ago, and improv. If you can do improv, you can do street, because you're thinking on your feet without thinking. The other thing is I'm never without a pendulum. Now, when you use the pendulum, when you're out on the street being anywhere that isn't the therapy room, could be anywhere, is that it's a very visual thing, and people don't understand about idiomotor. They don't understand. So you say the power of the mind, they think it's you. They think it's hypnosis. And then you can bring in magnetic fingers. Again, they don't know about the physiological thing of the fingers coming together. Just those two simple things. They think it's hypnosis. That's their perception. Then you can do, but just doing those two things. Oh, I'm a hypnotist. Do you have a card? Da 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 da. That sort of thing,
thank you.
The other thing, actually, even just talking to someone today, someone said, "But hypnosis, you only deal with smoking and weight loss." No, those videos that get out there actually show people it's more than just that.
Mm-hmm.
That was their perception. So, like the videos that we do, I've done 6 minute hypnosis tracks and put them up on TikTok and stuff, and would I have done that 2 years ago? Probably not. But it's just the more you do it, the better you get at it. And you get to the stage where like Sarah Jane said, you just don't give a shit because they're not paying your bills. You are, and you've got to get the clients in. So it means you've just literally got to get up. Like Lisa, you've disappeared off TikTok. Where'd you go? Get back on it right now. Right. It's like, yeah, it's the only way in the current climate.
You just remind me, I had a phone call with my friends today, and I know we're going over time here now. Me Labba is calling me, but my friend, was saying to me, "Oh, I feel like I just want to put myself out there as I'm only starting out," and I'm like, "No one wants to pay someone who's only starting out. You're doing this now 8 months." She says, "Sound healing, so it's just sound baths, yeah." She's like, but I'm afraid of, like, I'm not an industry expert. I said, "No, but you are an expert on your experience to date and the clients that have come into you. That's who you talk about. Don't be thinking too big. Think about, just keep it in front of you. Think about what's in front of you. Don't worry about everything else, And I said, "You have to come to this talk later on." And she didn't come, but she'll ask for the recording as well. Anyone else, any questions or anything? Because I know it is getting late now, and I do appreciate we start.
I just want to say firstly, I want to thank Sarah, but I just want to say one last thing. When you are all doing your videos, actually, the client, all they care about is the solution. So if you're talking about anxiety, talk about how hypnosis can help. If you're talking about confidence, talk about how hypnosis can help and show them that you can do it yourself. Whatever it is that you're talking about, they only care about the solution. They don't care about the method.
Yeah.
That's all.
100%.
All you're doing is breaking down the fear.
Yeah. You talk about the result, not how you can get the result. Just get the result.
Right.
Helps with that. Thank you for that. Thanks for your lovely comments.
Sarah, thank you so much.
stress over now. I didn't think anyone was going to
There
turn
you
up.
go.
Honestly, I was like, I'm making these slides earlier on today, and I was like, no,
And
one's
it's going to be
come on this
such a
time.
beautiful evening. No one's coming, but then everybody's here, so it's
Oh, no,
fantastic.
he's a
There was
great.
about 4 or 5 more as we went through it. So,
I
and I know I'm here
appreciate it.
twice, but that's because my volume went, as you know, and you kept reminding me.
One little quick favor. If you enjoyed the presentation, if you enjoyed me speaking, I'm not selling it around, by the way. It'd be great if you could pop a little review on my Google website, Modern Hypnosis Clinic, because that's a new website and I'm generating Google reviews. So if you enjoyed the way I presented, that's all you got to talk about, because I only want genuine reviews, by the way.
Sarah
I'll
Jane,
pop
do you
it in
want
the
to drop that link in the chat and I'll do it?
Yeah,
for you.
I will. Yeah, it's here we go. Oh yeah. If you Google.
Thank you, John. Thank you for organising this.
You're most welcome. And just actually for anyone who is interested, Laura and I are running a webinar next Monday on grow your therapy business through better self-care. So if anyone is interested, because self-care is not something that we normally are taught, and the more you do this, the more you realize the importance of it. So
Deadly. I think that's right. Oh, it's a really
thank you.
I love that slogan. You could always change
And I'll
it.
share it in the group as well, Sarah. Just put it into the conference group as well.
I'll stick it in the group, because there's
That's
a way
the
you
best
can
place
actually
to do
say
it,
that
isn't it?
Google review
Yeah.
rather than just a website.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you to everybody. Next month, Trevor Evers will be here with fractionation. So it's great to see everybody, and it's great. And actually, do you know what? Coming from this now, we'll end up with practice sessions on inductions and groups of hypnotherapists meeting together and then going out on the street, probably in Dublin, maybe once a month or once every 2 months. Maybe that's a good idea.
I'm ready. I have my hoodie. I'm having my hypnotist hoodie.
I'll have ordered mine by then. Victor, you coming down?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm down your way in a few weeks, definitely. So
We'll see you on Crime Line.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you guys. I'm going to stop the recording.
Thank you,
now, 'cause
John.
that's
Thank you,
all.
Sarah.
Thanks,
Sarah, have
John.
you got
Thanks,
time for
Sarah
one
Jane.
question?
Sarah.
One small
Thank
one?
you.
yeah, who's